Hey guys, it's John here from Fatty Miniatures. I got Aaron here. We're going to be playing a super awesome 2,000 point game of Warhammer 40,000.
Yeah.
We rolled up the mission randomly. We got contact lost, so there'll be 6 objectives. You only get a tactical objective card for each objective you control after the first turn. So it should be really interesting. Aaron's playing Tyranids.
We love board control.
And I have my Dark Angels, first time playing them. So we'll see how they do. We'll go to the armies and then we'll show you the board. So this is Aaron's 2,000 points of Tyranids. Do you want to walk us through what you got?
Yeah, I have a brigade detachment, so I'm getting 12 command points altogether. Leading off, my 3 HQ choices are Neurothropes. The one that's actually the Neurothrope model is my Warlord. And he has Soul Hunger as his Warlord trait because my High Fleet is all Chronos. And then for troop choices, I have 6 squads of Ripper Swarms because holding objectives and deep striking is good. I have 3 Hive Guard. Little Market Dave, I'm trying out the shock cannons today because I have a mortal wound spam theme list, so they all cause mortal wounds with their shock cannons. I have 3 Venom Thropes because they provide a little bit of -1 to hit, and they can cause mortal wounds in combat as well. Then I have 3 Zoanthropes. These are my old bad boys converted from Raveners before they had plastic. And they're rocking Onslaught and, of course, Smite. And then for my last one, I have the model that nobody likes. This is my Malceptor, and he actually is awesome. And he's rocking Psychic Scream as his power, so he's going to be doing some mortal wounds all game long. Then for fast attack, I got Little Market Dave here. My first casualty, I'll just pull this old converted Lictor model off, but I got 3 Mucilage Spores for my fast attack. Then for heavy support, I got my 3 converted Biovores, and of course rocking the mortal wounds from the Spore Mines. I have a Toxicrin. That's right, I'm using both of the terrible kits. And I didn't like the big lashes, so I converted mine to not knock over all the models that I have around it. And of course, mortal wounds from his Toxic Miasma. And then my last type of support choice, I have 3 Carnifexes. And each one of the Carnifexes has 4 total Death Spitters with Slimer Maggots and enhanced senses, so they hit on 3s instead of 4s. And of course they cause mortal wounds with their living battering ram rule. So it keeps with my theme. Then I've got the old Hive Crone. And he's rocking the mortal wound capability from his Tentaclids. And then my Harpy, of course, when my Harpy bombs over things, he's got the ability to launch Spore Mines. And then the Sporocyst at the end here. First time using this in 8th edition, but create Spore Mines, it can launch Spore Mines, it can create Mucilage Spores. I upgraded the guns to have Death Spitters on there, so it can do a little bit of shooting. And that's my 12 command points, that's my army.
2,000 points of a beautifully painted Tyranid army. Here is my 2,000 points of Dark Angels. I have, over here we have the Outrider detachment with a Librarian. He has Smite, Aversion, and Trephination. We also have a unit of Ravenwing Knights. And then we have 2 units of Assault Marines. One with 3 Plasma Pistols, the other with a Flamer. And then we have a Nephilim Jet Fighter with the Avenger Mega Bolter. And then we have a battalion detachment over here with another Librarian with the same 3 psychic powers, Trephination, Aversion, and Smite. And then we have a Chaplain, and they will be riding in this super awesome Razorback with twin las cannons. And then we have 3 tactical squads. These 2 are exactly the same. The sergeant has a chain sword and a plasma pistol, and they both have a plasma gun in them. And then this one's slightly different. We have a combi plasma and then a power fist for the sergeant, but the special weapon is also a plasma gun. And then we have 3 identical rhinos. And that is the battalion detachment. And then over here we have a vanguard detachment with an interrogator chaplain with a plasma pistol. And that is also my warlord. And so he has the brilliant strategist warlord trait. So anytime I roll a dice when I use a command point on a 6+, I gain it back. He also has the Shroud of the Unseen, which is super awesome because he's going to try to be in combat. So doing some shenanigans there. Then we have a unit of company veterans, 2 guys with bolters, and the sergeant has a power sword and a bolt pistol. And then over here we have Deathwing Terminators with an assault cannon on the heavy weapon guy, and the sergeant has a power sword. And then over here we have Deathwing Knights, and both units have a Watcher in the Dark because 5 points, and he's got a bunch of Psychers. And that is my 2,000 points of Dark Angels. So we're gonna roll, see who goes first. The Dark Angels get a 3, and the Tyranids get a 6. Alright, well, even with my +1, you still get to go first. So I'm going to attempt to seize the initiative. And I get a 4, so I do not get that. But before the battle starts, I'm going to spend one of my 8 command points to make all of my objectives secret. So Aaron doesn't know what I'm trying to do. Alright, and this is Aaron's objective card for turn 1, secure objective 4, which is right there in the middle. Both sides have a long ways to go, so we'll see. Hopefully he can get to that one. Before the game, we both spent a command, well, I spent 1, he spent 2. Mine is to make all my objective cards secret from him, and he spent 2 so that this wonderful piece of terrain right here that all my models are sitting in, I don't get any bonus for cover, so we'll see how that goes. In the meantime, Aaron's going to go to his movement phase, and we'll come back. Alright, so into movement phase for the Tyranids on turn 1. You'll notice that there is quite a big line of big nasty bugs coming up the front. Everything advanced that moved, and so the Toxicrene moved 14 inches and hopped right up there on the objective. So I think he'll be getting his tactical objective for this turn. The Carnifex is all advanced. This one went 11. And 8 and 8, not very fast for those guys. The Zoanthropes advanced as well, moved 11.
Got into objective 6.
Yep. And then we've got a Neurothrope right there who also advanced, as well as the Maliceptor. Sporocyst can't move, so it just sat there. Right back there, that Muculid Spore that looks like a Lictor also advanced and went a whole 4 inches. Everything else just sat there. So we will go on to the Psychic phase for the Tyranids on turn 1.
Alright, so Psychic phase turn 1 recap. My Maliceptor, after getting an excellent advance roll, decided to go after the biggest threat. So he attempted to cast Smite. It was denied by the librarian inside the fortification, so he did Psychic Scream and got 3 mortal wounds on the Razorback. This guy right here, he was out of range, so for his Smite, so he cast the Horror on the same Razorback, so that he's hitting on force, which is thumbs up for me. Over here, these guys here, they got Catalyst cast on them by my Warlord Neurothrope, and then they could have onslaughted something, but I decided to Smite, and I went for the Assault Marines in the building, and I got 2 of them. And then this guy was out of range, and that's the end of my Psychic phase.
End of the shooting phase.
Addendum, at the end of my movement phase, this spawned 3 Spore Mines. Sorry about that. Didn't really affect the game too much.
So you guys will notice that something's missing right here. That's because he blew up the Razorback. So these guys got out and moved towards the objective. This guy's sitting on it. And over here.
Interclades and spore mines.
Yeah, lots of mortal wounds. Killing me softly. So 2 bikes dead here. They're sitting right over there in the glorious dead pile. And we got 3 mortal wounds, or 3 wounds from the harpy. That was about it. So I feel like I survived pretty well. The Hive Guard are just out of range right now, so nothing to shoot at. And that is the Tyranids turn 1. So we will go on to Dark Angels turn 1. Secret objective for turn 1. Aaron did manage to secure objective 4, so he did get 1 point. So we will come back after the movement phase and show you what happened. Turn 1 recap of the movement phase for the Dark Angels. So you'll notice this building emptied out since they don't get any cover. Everybody moved forward. Librarians bringing up the rear here. The 3-man squad with their plasma pistols jumped forward. So did these guys. Got the flamer right there, nice and close. They're sitting on the objective, so they now claim that objective by sheer numbers. The Rhino dumped its cargo over here and then pulled forward. And this bike right here, just, you know, suicide mission, jetted forward. We've got this fantastic Nephilim jet fighter zooming forwards. Gonna do some shooting here in a second. These guys just hopped out, sitting in the crater, and figured we'd keep this Rhino back here. He's got a bunch of deep strike rippers still back there, so, you know, give a little deep strike protection in the corner. The chaplain moved up just a little bit, as did the interrogator chaplain and these 2 guys, who actually should be a little bit further back to still be in the crater. And that's going to be the movement phase. This guy just kind of sat there, and the guys are still inside because there's no reason to pull them out. We've got other things to deal with later on in the game. So we'll go to the psychic phase and we'll come back once that's done. So into the psychic phase. This librarian cast Smite on the Zoanthropes and did 6 mortal wounds. Unfortunately, they have Catalyst, and so with the pseudo feel no pain, they saved 3 of them, and so only 1 died. And then the only other thing that got off, because he did deny the other Smite, was Aversion on the Hive Guard, giving them a -1 to hit. I tried to cast Trephination on the Zoanthropes with this Psyker here with this sword. Unfortunately, Aaron decided to use the Deepest Shadow, which costs a command point, making it impossible to cast a Warp Charge 7 power on 1 dice. So
Shadows in the warp.
So that was the psychic phase. We'll come back after the shooting phase and show you the devastation that has occurred. So after the shooting phase, the devastation was not really as much as I was hoping for. I didn't roll so hot. Luckily, where it counted, when I overcharged my plasma, I didn't roll any 1s to hit.
For the Emperor!
So I took 6 wounds off of that Carnifex, leaving him with 2. I took 1 wound off of his own throat from all these guys here.
Thanks for the venom throat.
Yeah, I didn't realize that they were still in range. I just barely was in range. So, rolled a lot of 3s, and normally that would have hit. Killed the Spore Mine, I think I took 2 wounds, 1 wound off the Maleceptor.
Bolter in the eye.
That was pretty much it. So we'll go on to the assault phase and we'll come back. Recap of the assault phase. That lone bike charged the Carnifex and took a wound getting in there. This tactical marine squad also charged but failed by an inch. I used a command point to re-roll it and rolled the exact same 3 that I failed the first time with. This assault squad charged the Zoanthropes. So did that one, and they also failed miserably. Did a couple of wounds, but the Zoanthropes saved it with their invuln and then the Catalyst, Feel No Pain. and no wounds were done in the actual combat over here. So that's it. At the end of turn 1, Aaron secured objective 4, and I secured objective 3, so we both get 1 point each. And we will go on to turn 2, and Aaron controls 3 objectives, so here are his cards. Defend objective 1, overwhelming firepower, and secure objective 6. Defend objective 1 is going to be a little tough because that right there is objective 1, and you have to control it for 2 consecutive turns in order to score that card. And 6, I believe, is this one?
Yes.
So it's doable, but he's definitely going to have to wipe some stuff out in the middle there. And kill something in the shooting phase he should be able to pull off. I don't see him having any issues with that. So, alright guys, as Aaron's knocking over his models, that is the end of the movement phase. A lot of activity happened. The Toxicrene moved forward. The Neurothrope moved forward. So did the Venomthropes. The Zoanthropes fell back. And the other Neurothrope, the Warlord, moved up. The Mucilid Spore, that's actually a Lictor model, in the back there, shimmied forward. The Maleceptor moved forward. The Zoanthrope moved forward. Did they both advance? Just the Neurothrope. Okay. We got some Rippers that appeared off the board edge, and some more Rippers, and some more Rippers. Spore Mines moved up way over there, advanced an extra 3 inches, and we generated some more over there. So just kind of give you an overall feel of the battlefield from the other side of the table. We got this over here, and the very last thing that made Aaron knock over his model, he used his wonderful 2-point stratagem for rapid regeneration and rolled a 2 on the die. Well, 2 on the D3. He rolled a 4, and so he gained 2 more wounds back on that Carnifex. And that is the movement phase. We're about to go into the psychic phase, and the phase is now over. As you notice, that bike is no longer there. That's because that Neurothrope cast Smite, or tried to cast Smite. My Librarian hiding over here managed to deny that. So then that Neurothrope cast Psychic Scream, and I let it go for the 1 wound that was left on that bike. So that bike died. And then over here, missing 3 Assault Marines because that guy tried to cast Smite, and I denied that one, so that way he couldn't heal his Zoanthropes over there. But then they cast Smite, and I was out of denies. So 3 mortal wounds later, I've got 2 guys left. And then over here, we got the Maleceptor cast Smite on the company veterans and got 2 of them. And then that Zoanthrope, or Neurothrope, excuse me, cast Smite on the Chaplain, was the closest model, and got 3 mortal wounds on the Chaplain, leaving him with 1. So a lot of activity in the psychic phase for the Tyranids. We'll see how the shooting phase goes. Aaron just reminded me that he did cast Catalyst on the Toxicrene, so I didn't bother to deny that. That was his first power that he cast, so I knew there were better powers to cast. So that's the psychic phase. We'll come back and do a recap of the shooting phase. Oh, end of the shooting phase for Tyranids. Just do a quick pan over the battlefield and show you that there's not really a whole lot of Dark Angels left on the battlefield. I think it was Sporocyst that shot the last veteran off this objective. Everything over here kind of shot at the Assault Marines, and the Assault Marines that were sitting right there, and the tank that was right there. The Assault Marine, the 5-man unit that was right there, saved quite a bit and made a couple of actually the Carnifex there had to finish it off. Yeah, even the Toxicant got in on the action, killed a Space Marine. This tank did not blow up. I'm trying to think if there's...
Venom Cannon got it.
The Venom Cannon, yeah. That Harpy over there doing a great job. Biovores got 2 mortal wounds on that Librarian and dropped the Spore Mine in there. I think that's it for the shooting phase, so we'll come back after the assault phase. Fight phase is over. That Carnifex managed to make a charge and to do 1 wound to the Librarian and then consolidated into the other one. They both whiffed really hard. Didn't even connect really. So that Carnifex is still untouched. Over here, the Toxicrene charged into the unit of Tactical Marines that was there and killed 4 of them. The Carnifex swung at them and whiffed real hard. And then the Tactical Marine swung back at the Carnifex and also whiffed really hard, rolling 2 1s to hit. And then that Marine failed his morale and passed out and died. So at the end of Aaron's turn, he didn't get that one, but he is going to roll D3 and gets 3 points for overwhelming firepower. So as we go into Dark Angel's turn 2, it is 4-1 for the Tyranids.
Discard defend objective 1.
Cards for Dark Angels on turn 2. And we'll come back after the end of the movement phase. The movement phase is over. As you can see, there are a lot of Terminators right there. Deep struck both of those. Outside of 9 inches from the Spore Mine, Maleceptor, and the Neurothrope. And also 9 inches away from this Ripper swarm there. Moved that Chaplain forward. Piled those Tactical Marines out and moved them forward. And drove that straight towards that awesome Sporocyst. And over here, we drove the Rhino towards the Toxicrene. And these guys just stayed there, sitting on that objective. And over there, that wonderful, wonderful Nephilim jet fighter that I could not think of the name, still has not done any wounds this game, and flew over there in the middle of the opponent's army. And these guys just sat there and twiddled their thumbs in the movement phase. So we're going to go straight to the psychic phase, and hopefully we can get rid of a Carnifex, and we'll come back with the results. Dark Angels are having a hard time today. Went to cast Smite, and Aaron popped up this stratagem again. And I failed Smite because I needed to roll a 6 and I rolled a 2. And so this Librarian here is dead because of the Warlord trait.
Soul Hunger.
Soul Hunger. And actually I need to roll for that guy too because he failed one as well.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, there's no more Librarians for the Dark Angels. So that's the Psychic phase. They didn't do anything and they both died. So we will come back after the shooting phase and hope that it's a lot more effective. So after the shooting phase for the Dark Angels, the Rhino got rid of the two spore mines that were there. This tactical squad, these Terminators, and both Chaplains shot at the Maleceptor and brought it down to 3 wounds. Pretty big deal.
6 or 7 wounds on it.
Yeah. Over here, this tank shot at that Carnifex and did nothing. These guys decided to shoot at this Carnifex, and the Plasma Gunner overcharged and got hot and blew up. But they did end up killing it with the bolters because the they brought it down to 2 wounds. The bolters took off 2, and then my Nephilim jet fighter, which has done nothing in the first turn, managed with his missiles to kill the Carnifex and a Biovore and take off 2 wounds off of the other one. So maybe a little bit of hope coming back into the Dark Angels as we move into the assault phase. I think there's going to be a couple of charges from this side of the board over here. Not really much left over there to charge. Alright guys, so after the assault phase, very disappointed by these Terminators here. They can't charge to save their own lives.
Not like
or the chaplains. That tactical Marine squad charged the Neurothrope and did 1 wound and then lost a Marine. And that was it for the charge phase. And we're gonna go over to the cards where I don't think I got any. I didn't kill a Psyker this turn. And I didn't secure objective 2. So that leaves the score at the end of turn 2, 4-1 for the Tyranids. So that was a super interesting game for the Dark Angels. Obviously, Tyranid victory, we called it after turn 2. The score was 4-1. And we looked at the next couple cards. There was no way for the Dark Angels to come back. I drew Hold the Line for the one, or I would have drawn Hold the Line. And Aaron already had 2 Ripper Swarms in my deployment zone that I couldn't even touch. So, good game.
Good game.
Make sure that's on the camera.
That's right.
So, what do you think was the MVP of your army list?
The MVP of my army list, it's really, really tough. I think probably my Harpy.
Your Harpy?
The Venom Cannons took out 2 or 3 vehicles. Spore Mines could have been the MVP.
I was going to say, the Spore Mines were my opinion, whether they came from the Spore Assist or whether they came from the Biovore.
Yeah. They denied you Deep Strike.
I couldn't get my Terminators on, except in that back corner, where they would have made their stand until your entire army got there. But in a Maelstrom game, which we were playing,
right,
there's no way for me to come back with Terminators once they're on the board and there's nowhere to go. Yeah. So I think Spore Mines were definitely instrumental. Also, your Ripper Swarms being able to Deep Strike.
I had board control.
You were all over the board and left me nowhere to go. So
and you got so many mortal wounds over the course of the game.
Yeah, it just kind of attritioned me out. So no, I really liked your list.
Hope it wasn't too terrible for you.
No, you were fine. I am a little disappointed with the Dark Angels. I might do another video on that later. If so, it'll be right here. If not, that's okay.
Shout out to my Neurothrope.
Oh,
my Warlord. He got that Soul Hunger Warlord trade off twice. He killed both Librarians when they failed their psychic test within 18 inches of him.
That was terrible. Absolutely terrible. Oh man, it's so good. I'm so glad I played Tyranids too.
So bring a brigade, do 3 Neurothropes. It's a lot of fun.
It definitely can be. It can be. I don't know.
Maybe next time you're going to see Tyranids versus Tyranids.
I really like that list.
Necrons versus Tyranids.
So I think my MVP was my Flyer. Even though I was bad-mouthing it, it actually killed a bunch of units. Just the fact that it's got so many shots to kind of spread around.
Yeah.
It took care of a Carnifex, it took care of a Biovore and a half. So, other than that, I think it was a good showing for the Tyranids. High Fleet Kronos.
Rerolling 1s when you stand still is amazing.
You know, it's funny. I have the same chapter tactic, army trait, whatever you want to call it. And I think that next time I would have to build more towards it. I think you did a very good job of making sure you had the Spore Assist is set still, the Biovores, your Harpy and your Hive Chrome both sat still.
Yeah. Rerolling to hit with Tentaclids was awesome.
The Hive Hive Guard? Right? They sat still
The
too.
Hive Guard, they sat still. They went in range turn 1, but then...
but then I moved everything forward, and yeah, so rerolling ones to hit can be pretty good, I guess, especially when you normally hit on 4s.
My Tyranid dice, I see that Tyranid symbol quite a bit.
So, well, shoot,
Plus dice luck for you. You had the worst dice luck.
I rolled a lot of 1s, but I kept moving. So
is that beard hair still stuck in your mouth?
No. Aaron's making a joke because I got a hair stuck in my mouth when we were doing our turn, and I couldn't get rid of it. So, oh man. Once again, guys, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe. Hopefully, you'll see a lot more of Aaron on the channel.
It's my dream come true.
He's got this wonderfully painted Tyranid army that you see behind us. So. Hopefully you'll see some Necrons, some Dark Angels, some other Tyranids, maybe some Sisters of Battle. Keep your fingers crossed against this Tyranids. So tune back in, and thanks for watching.
Happy wargaming.